welcome to the Gospel According to podcast. The first, that's right, the first, the only, that's right, the only podcast looking at the intersection between pop culture, the Christian faith. I'm joined as always by my co-host. You may know him as 50,000. You got 50,000 on Double Dragon? That's right, the wizard himself, Dave Hallahan.
Ooh, that's me. All across the United States, you probably just know me as a $. That's what I would put my initials in at in all the arcades. No, just kidding. Always some kid, who thought he was clever and was doing stuff like that.
Do you know the reference?
No, it's a movie, but
Yes,
that's like when you say it, I'll be like, yeah, that you're right. But I don't know the reference.
The movie is The Wizard.
Oh, I was wrong. I don't know that I do know that.
It's about this prodigy. I think he's on the spectrum, but he plays video games, and Fred Savage kind of adopts him and brings him around, and then they bring him, and that's the movie with the glove, where the kid has the Nintendo glove.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, it's so bad. And then they eventually make it to this tournament where Super Mario 3 is unveiled and they play through it, and it's like whoever wins wins the thing. So
this is like adult Fred Savage.
No, this is like little.
How does Fred Savage adopt somebody as a child?
He doesn't. They're like kids on the run.
Okay.
They're like, hustling people at pinball, machines and stuff, and playing games to like get money, and they're like hitchhiking through town. It's like, coming of age.
Yeah.
Story. This is like probably pre-Wonder Years, even like Fred Savage, like Princess Bride.
Oh,
Fred Savage.
Okay. Yeah. No, I have not. I've not seen The Wizard. I'll have to add it to the list, I guess.
It's good. It was one of those movies growing up where I'm like, you always wanted to watch it, but you're like, how do I watch it? I just have to hope it's on TV at some point.
Right. Maybe I can convince my parents to go to West Coast Video.
Yeah, it's like maybe at some point. And that's the thing, I talk to my kids all the time. It's like, being the old person now, and we are in this culture point in time where we've seen a drastic change in technology.
Yeah.
Like probably more so in, the last 30 years than any other time in the history of forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we started like pre-internet when we were little, and then like internet came and it was slow and it's moving up, and now like everything's digital. We have the world in our pockets and TV on demand and stuff like that. But it was like, I just remember as a kid watching TV, and they would always like promo these shows, and it'd be like Friday at 6 p.m. and it'd be like, and then you never see it.
Right.
Like my little 8-year-old mind, all I wanted to do was watch this whatever Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles crossover episode. And it was just like, if you didn't see it, sorry.
Yeah, you'd have to wait like 10 years for when it was on syndication.
Or my girls now are like watching through series, like first episode, second episode, and then seeing the series finale. And it's just like, we just got whatever episode was on.
Right.
And like in your mind, you kind of have to piece together, oh, this happened before this, but it was like,
yeah. Yeah. I feel like most of the shows I grew up on, there was TGIF. And so each week, that was kind of must-see TV, I guess we would. And we were a TGIF family. We would watch it. And so they did come out.
Have you ever seen the show Boy Meets World, I think it's called?
I have seen that one, yes. The only other podcast out there that I listen to is Pod Meets World, which is a rewatch. Yeah. It's a good one. Go check it out.
Coming soon. Gospel according to Corey Matthews.
Yes. But yeah, so we would watch those in order. But I feel like even most of those shows, I don't remember like them in order. I just remember them later being on, reruns with like.
There's a different Aunt Viv. Why is there a different person playing this character?
Yeah, Aunt Viv with Fresh Prince. And Family Matters, they changed characters too, I feel.
Yeah, the one daughter just like stopped. Well, that happened in Boy Meets World too, right?
Yes,
like,
yeah. The daughter
one
just
girl was just upstairs for
disappears
timeout for years.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we've been through drastic changes, even like commercials. Like during the football season, my daughters were just like, "Why are there so many commercials?" Because it's like live sports are the only times where we actually watch
Right.
commercials
It's
anymore.
like, mhm.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't the gospel according to commercials, but Dave, does this ring a bell? Does this
Hey,
mean anything to you?
it does. It does. I actually think of Zelda is the first game that comes to mind with
I
that.
never had Zelda.
No, like any of them, or not for the Nintendo.
Not until N64.
Okay, Ocarina of Time.
Hmm.
Yes, Majora's Mask.
But anyway, this is the gospel according to the Super Mario
Hey,
Brothers, not Mario Brothers, which I probably have called it many times in my life.
it's a Mario.
Right. And
I,
so, what's your history with the franchise, Dave?
so my first like real, I think we had a Nintendo
Hmm.
Entertainment System, but that was more my older brothers. Um, I don't know when that came out, like late 80s, probably 87. There's Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, 2 for 1. Wow.
This is the one that came with the NES.
Yes. There are visuals, so if you're listening, you have to check us out on YouTube. Um, but yeah, I didn't really play much on the Nintendo. It wasn't until Super Nintendo that I really like got into it. So yeah, I remember the Mario Brothers, the just going level to level, going down tubes, collecting coins, trying not to burn from the sun, saving the
That was the
princess.
one with the cape, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
He had the like little yellow cape.
Yep, yep. Um, and then yeah, all of like the spin-offs to um, Wii and Nintendo 64 before that, the Mario Kart, um, Super Smash Brothers, which is I feel like really it's a Mario game. And I don't think I've shared this story on the podcast before. I don't know when I would have, so it's coming now. But my brother claims, and if he could find it, he might have evidence that he came up with the idea for Super Smash Brothers. That in his, I forget which elementary grade class, but this is my older brother Josh from the Asbury episode. So he's a holy man. He wouldn't lie about this.
I don't know. Your brothers have made very big claims before. Wasn't there something Mark had come up with?
Yeah, lots of stuff he came up with. Uh, Weird stuff. The if for wrestling fans out there, the who were the Shawn Michaels? Oh, DX. He like my brother came up with a symbol that they eventually ended up using. He also claims to have come up with the pillow in a
Pointing at his crotch.
yes, the pillow in a sleeping bag. That Mark claims he came up with that before it was ever a thing. Anyway, Josh, for a class project, they were supposed to like come up with an invention or something that they would want to see happen, and he wanted a video game where different video game characters fought each other. And then a few years later, his teacher sold that idea to Nintendo and made millions of dollars.
Maybe your brother is Mark is right that the government has been spying on the Hallahan family
I think
all along.
I think they have been. I mean, clearly we've funded your childhood, people. Our ideas made your life worth living. Yeah, so we would. I mean, but all of those games we would play. And it's. I've never been a big video game guy. Like normally, I would play the sports video games. That's it. But I think like Mario is the main exception to that. I would actually like play through the levels, not just like fight my brothers in Super Smash Brothers. How about you? Were you a Mario guy?
Yeah, big. That was my jam. So we had
Yes, yes. The original.
Super Mario Brothers 2,
Yes, yes.
which there's a whole story you can go into that this wasn't really Super Mario Brothers 2, but they wanted something different, so they changed a different game to make it for the American, but the Japanese version of Super Mario Brothers 2 is kind of like the same. And then this was the thing right here. This is my childhood.
Okay, I do
Playing.
remember that, and that's Nintendo
Yeah, the NES, Super Mario Brothers 3.
because I remember the little like raccoon tail.
Yeah, and so we had NES, me and my sister. I was, player too, but then we went from NES to Sega Genesis. So we spent some time with Sonic. I have vivid memories of playing Sonic after. This was before you could save a game, folks. That's how old we are.
Yes.
You couldn't save a game. You could only pause it. So I would play after school. I would pause the game when my mom was yelling at me for dinner. I would turn off the TV,
Right.
but keep the console on,
Obviously.
go for dinner, come back, turn the TV back on, and unpause it, and hope that in that time it did not freeze. And then so we went Genesis, and then we went from that to N64, and I never got into like the like more realistic, PlayStations, Xboxes. Never had any of them. Had N64. When I was in adulthood, we got a Wii, and then now my girls have a Switch. So we've kind of been, besides that little veer off to the Genesis, I've been only a Nintendo kid.
We've all strayed, but we end up coming back to the straight and narrow. Yeah.
But many hours with the Mario Brothers.
You were too busy making videos with Derek Jeter for the PlayStation, Xbox era, I feel like.
Yeah.
We were never a Sega family. We were brand loyal until PlayStation. And then we had a PlayStation 2, had an Xbox 360. But then I bought a Wii, and then I sold my Xbox. And I haven't had a video game system since, until I turned, I don't remember, 32, we'll say. It's probably been longer than that. When I turned 30, my wife bought me a Nintendo 64, a used one. So we got it back. And now
Nice.
I've been teaching my girls lately. We have Super Smash Brothers. So that was an easy game for them to play when they're young, because you
button mashing.
Yes, they're actually better than their mom at it, because Leah is just a button masher as well, but she always hits start and like pauses it in the middle. I'm like, it's the only button in the middle. Like, just don't touch it.
It's the smallest one, Leah.
There's no reason to touch that button. And the girls don't do that, so that's good. But lately, the older two, so 9 and 5, have gotten into Mario Kart, and we start with the battles, but then they're starting to branch out into actually racing as well. So I'm training them up in the way that they should go.
Very nice. So, Dave, looking at this is one of the controversies. If they are the Mario brothers,
right?
Is his name Mario and Luigi Mario?
I think yes. Until like proven otherwise, that has to be the assumption that we go with.
So I did some deep dive research in this.
Oh, good.
And in did you see the 1993 movie?
Oh, the Mario Brothers. I'm like,
yes.
Yeah, which I've seen a couple of movies from 1993.
The movie.
Planes, Trains, and all. No, not plane. Groundhog Day was 1993. Yes, I did. I saw that movie. It's been quite some time since I've seen it, but.
So the reason why we're doing this is because there's an upcoming movie.
Wait, what?
Animated movie. Yeah. No, you didn't know that? With Chris Pratt playing the titular character, Mario, and who's playing Luigi? What's his name? From It's Always Sunny, the one guy. He's
Charlie Day?
In that?
Or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's Luigi. Jack Black is Bowser,
right.
I believe. So there's this upcoming movie. So we wanted to look back on that. So, but there is a movie '93 that already came out that was not very good for that, and they supported that his name is Mario, them
right.
being the Super Mario Brothers. But there's also another theory. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
That in the Mushroom Kingdom, there's a race of toads. And so every single person there is named Toad.
Okay.
There's there's Yoshis. And guess what all of their names are?
Yoshi.
Yeah, so Yoshi. So the locals assume that there's these two humans, and the one's named Mario, so the other one wouldn't be named Mario as well. Hence them calling them the Mario brothers. What do you think?
Interesting.
Do you believe that, or that his name is Mario and Luigi Mario?
Well, yeah, where do we get, if they're the Mario brothers because they are all Mario, then where do we get Luigi from?
Well, they figured out his name later, but it's stuck from the beginning. That they're the Mario brothers when they're like,
Got it, because they're brothers of the race Mario.
yeah, because he didn't show up until Super Mario 2, I believe, is when Luigi shows up. So maybe they already knew Mario, and they're like, oh, it's his brother. They must be the Mario brothers.
And then Luigi was having none of that, and he's like, we need to differentiate. I'm going to wear green. And that's how they
with
can tell
an
him
L on my forehead for love.
L's for love.
I don't think that's what she means.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that one, but I just think that they're Italian plumbers whose last name is Mario, and it's Mario and Luigi Mario. That's my preferred theory.
What's your go-to character in Smash Brothers or in Mario Kart?
So in Smash Brothers, my go-to character is, and this is original Smash Brothers, the only one that matters, is Samus, who wasn't until much later I found out there's a woman under that suit.
Well, we already know that you're a misogynist. We've established that.
Hey, anyone
canon.
He or she could play Mario
It has
Brothers.
a gun and a suit of armor. It's got to be a guy.
I did think it was always weird that one of the options was pink. Like in my boy brain, that's just, why would a boy wear pink? But anyway, but I like Samus. She does great damage, but then in Mario Kart, I mean, if you're like, Toad is the fastest. That's just known. So I like Toad. I like Yoshi. I like Mario.
So you go speed over like a Bruiser.
Yes. Yeah. I do. In like when it got to like Wii Sports, I went through Waluigi phase.
Wow.
Yeah, I liked being tall and cranky, I guess. I'm not really sure, but yeah. So Waluigi was my guy in like Mario Tennis. Do you have who are your preferred?
I didn't grow up. We didn't have Mario Kart. We had Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh, okay.
So it was basically the same thing, except there was planes levels, and there was also like I don't know if it was jet ski levels.
There was
like
water.
water.
Yeah.
So it was all of those, but and I never played Super Smash Brothers. Really,
Okay.
it was too violent for my household. I just want games where we're like protecting people, trying to save people, not beating each other up and looking like a Rihanna halftime show.
Wait, why? I don't get the reference. Were people beating each other up at the halftime show?
No, they were standing on these platforms.
Oh, yes, it did look like, yeah. Ready to choose your fighter. Yes, I understand. I get it now.
So, Dave, this is the question everybody's been waiting for.
Okay.
What is the gospel according to Mario?
That is a good question. I think there's a couple different ways you could take it, could look at it. Ultimately, though,
there's a couple different gospels, is what you're saying?
Yes.
There's more than one way to heaven.
Well, there's 4 gospels in the Bible, first of all. So take it up with the Bible, I guess. But we're talking about Mario, which not actually gospel, not going to get you to heaven. But I think like it's a classic good versus evil, right? There's Mario and Bowser, and you have to, and then Bowser's got all his little demons, the Koopas.
He's got flames.
There's fire imagery. Yes. So I think, you just have good versus evil. There's persistence. There's a David and Goliath aspect too. Like, who's going to win, this short, stubby Italian plumber or this dragon turtle with spikes and fire?
Jesus was a carpenter. Mario's a plumber, both working class.
Yeah. So get a job in the trades, people. You might save the world. But yeah, I think there's those classic themes to it, of just good versus evil, and that you need to persist. He keeps running into, there's different levels. It's not just an easy one and done. You have to have the endurance to run the race to overcome evil. But yeah, I think just a classic good versus evil David Goliath story. It's all the similar tropes. I think there are like finer points you could pull out of it, but that would be
Oh, we'll get to them.
we'll get to them. That's my overarching answer. Do you approve of this message?
Yeah, I think the striving to overcome something, the persistence that you said. I mean, we could even put ourselves in the. This might be hard for you as a self-proclaimed misogynist to put yourself in the place of Princess Peach,
Mm.
but we have somebody that's pursuing us, seeking to come after and save us in our Savior Jesus Christ. There is that.
Sorry, I cut you off, but I like that point because I think we and me, but maybe a lot of people, you play as Mario, right? So most people probably think of themselves as the hero, not the damsel in distress. But we read the Bible that way too. Like we often read ourselves into the good guys in the Bible story. But like I am literally David. That's my name. But I'm not David. Like I'm more Goliath. I'm more the bad guy. I'm I'm more the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, not Jesus. And so I think that's a good parallelism as well.
Yeah, one of the things that I've thought of over the times, and my father-in-law, who is the pastor of our church, brought up kind of this idea of Mario showing us the sovereignty of God.
Okay.
So there is this tension within Christianity. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before, between free will and people that believe that everything has been
Preordained,
predestined. So there's this tension, and there's scriptures that support both of them, right? There's scriptures that flat out say either side of it, and
right.
so there's this wrestling between denominations, between theology of that. And I think for me, a way that has helped, at least for me, to understand and believe in what the sovereignty of God is the video game. So that the creators of Mario predestined that this is the world. And so within the world, there's certain things that if you do this, if you step on a shell, it kicks it this way. If you get a flower, you have firepower for until you get hurt. If you hit a block, so on and so forth. So there's parameters within what you can do. But within those parameters, you are in charge of the characters and its free will. You can jump over the pipe or you can go in the pipe. But once you go in that pipe, there's a certain number of things that can happen in that way. So God preordained this thing. He created the world that we're living in, and some of the rules, you might say, of that, of things going on. But he also, he limits himself as far as he's not a liar. So if he said something's true, it's true. If he said he's not going to do something, he's not going to do something. So there's parameters even for himself that he set up in doing so. But then we, as the character, the player, the person, are in charge of how we're going to live that out. We can choose good. We can choose evil. We can choose to follow him, to live according to his will as best we can, to operate as children of God, or we can choose to throw turtle shells at people and run people off the road. That is up to us. And so, I mean, all analogies fall in some ways, but I think as far as a idea of, okay, how can we hold these two things in tension with one another, that has helped me. So what do you think? The sovereignty of God as a video game.
I love it. That's great. You said every analogy falls apart, but I'm I'm finding trouble poking holes in this one, Dan. I think you've got it. No, I think that is really good, and uh, we much prefer like either or scenarios, but there are confines within Super Mario, but there's also a lot of free will and I think just like in real life, that is both comforting and frustrating, right? Because when you're on a level where there's the tedious like jump from platform to platform and you're like, I need a running start and I don't have room to get a running start, this is impossible. But it's not actually impossible. The creators of the game have made a way for you to succeed. You just have to be figured out and figure out how to do that. And you have the capability, you have the free will to be able to do that. There are things that will hurt you and will cause destruction. But again, you have the ability to, or the free will to avoid those things, to learn
Right.
from past mistakes, just like in real life. And as you were saying that, I thought about 1 Corinthians 10:13, no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape that you may be able to endure it. That we will be tempted in this life, but God's given us an out. There's always an out that comes with it. And just like in the game, there are things like mushrooms that look very appealing but are surrounded by Koopas, and we might want to go after them, but we don't have to do that. Like there is a way out of the trap that we find ourselves in. And like you said, the creators of the game have created that for us, but it's up to us to figure that out. And yeah, I think that maps well onto our real life existence.
Yeah, and God is like the verse say, he's provided a way out for us. There is, always another way. And sometimes we're playing video games and we're like, how the heck is anybody supposed to do this? I've been playing for Christmas 2 years ago when we got the Switch. Um, I bought the girls each a game, and then I bought myself a Zelda, whatever that one's called,
I don't know.
Breath of the Wild.
Yes,
Breath
yes,
of the
yes.
Wild.
Yeah.
And so I've been playing that, and the girls would be like, "Dad, play Zelda," because they want to watch me play it, because it's
Right.
like a
Yeah.
show for them. But I'll get to points and I'll be like, "What the heck am I supposed to do?" And I'm like, I don't have endless hours to figure this out. So I'm like, "All right, YouTube,
Yes.
how do you beat this person?" And somebody's done it before, and that's kind of that idea of like why we need each other, like mentorship of because some other people are further along in their faith than us,
Right.
that they've done this thing, that they can provide wisdom of like, you may feel like this is hopeless right now, but I was where you were at and God brought me through it, and he's going to bring you through it as well. And if we isolate ourselves from that so much, what we keep coming back to, because I think it's so true, is the community nature of our faith. If we isolate ourselves, think we have to do it alone, then it's going to be a lot harder than inviting others to join along with us to provide leadership of people that are further along in their faith that can mentor us, people that aren't as far along in our faith that we can turn back and help mentor them and encourage them to where we are, but that God, is with us as well alongside that.
Yeah, I love it. And uh, Dan, we're like, this is episode, I don't know, 8 or 5 or 7 or 2 or 3, or we're well into volume 2 of the Gospel According to,
Correct.
and we haven't had an official Bible breakdown yet. Woo! We already did one Bible verse, but also I think Jesus's words from Matthew chapter 6, where he talks about worrying and being anxious. Therefore, I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow, nor reap, nor gather in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not more valuable than they? It goes on to talk about the flowers in the fields and how they're clothed and all that good stuff. But I think as I think about this analogy that we've built around Super Mario and our life and God's sovereignty and all of that, I think we can get in those moments where we are worried or anxious that there's no way out of this, and this is just a trap and there's no way that I can succeed, or I don't have what I need to accomplish the goal that's after me. But in our actual life, obviously that feeling is 10 times more. The stakes are a little bit higher than a video game, but we can still be worried or anxious. But we've been given everything that we've needed to succeed in life, that we're more valuable than the birds of the air who don't think, oh, might I lose my job tomorrow? What am I going to do if that happens? They just live each day trusting that what they need will be provided, and it is provided for them. And so I think video games can be a source of frustration and even some anxiety when we get too invested. But let that be a reminder that in our real life, we don't have to be anxious. Just like in a video game, everything's provided. It can get a little hairier and messier in real life, but God is always providing for us. And we're told we don't have to worry. God cares about us. We have to seek first the kingdom, just like Mario, always going for the castle. Seek after the kingdom first, and all of these things will be added to us.
Good stuff. Good stuff. A Davy boy.
Davey
You want to play a game?
I do. I have two things before we play a game.
Okay.
They're short. One, this might not be good content for podcasts, but do you remember all the LAN parties we used to have at Moe's with what was the Nintendo that I haven't mentioned yet? GameCube. Yes. We used to do full Mario Kart parties because we would have 8 of us and 2 GameCubes, and we would connect them, and we would.
Sometimes we would only have 7.
That is true.
Do you know what would happen when we only had 7?
What would we do then?
Kevin Strout would play the 8th with his feet.
I do. I couldn't remember. Kevin Strout is not. That wasn't coming to my mind. But I'm pretty sure somebody played with their feet. Yes. Yeah. Those were good times. And then the other is, did you see the SNL sketch of the Super Mario Gritty reboot? Would you rather watch the Gritty reboot that they made just a trailer for, or the actual Super Mario coming out with Chris Pratt?
Oh man, probably. Well, the problem with watching the Gritty reboot is I don't know if my wife would watch it with me.
It's fair.
The new movie coming out, I'm gonna watch with probably with my kids and my family. If you Chris Pratt, if you're listening, which you probably are, if you want to send us some free tickets. tgatpod@gmail.com. But yeah, because like the actual show that they're referencing, what is it?
The Last of Us?
Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
We started trying to watch it, and the mushroom zombies did not allow my wife to continue watching that. And so I don't really have time to watch TV
without your
apart from her. Right. So
I understand that.
We watched half of the first episode.
Yeah. All right.
But that was incredible.
That was good. Yeah. Well, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. SNL, not a sponsor. I said I had 2 things, but here's another one.
Bonus
thing. When it was announced that Chris Pratt was cast as Mario, there was some backlash on the interwebs because he's not Italian. And like, then the trailer came out, and the backlash didn't stop because his accent does sound bad. Like, what do you think of this casting?
Well, I mean, would it be better if it was an Italian that's doing like a stereotypical bad Italian accent? Like,
there probably were like to use the overused word, like the woke complaints of like, he's not Italian, he shouldn't do it. But the complaints that I saw and that I'm talking about are just like, this isn't going to be good. Like, this is going to, and then when the trailer came out, like, it sounds like Chris Pratt trying to do an impression of Mario. It doesn't sound like Mario.
Woohoo! Yoo-hoo! Yeah. Everybody's always trying to, like, one of my favorite things is when people get called out on the internet for like thinking that they know, but then they don't know. Like, people on Twitter are like responding to someone's tweet about a book and be like, actually, I think the author meant this, and the person's like, I am the author.
I'm the author. Yes.
Or there was the thing when uh what's the Ben Stiller movie where he's Night at the Museum? Night at the Museum 2 comes out.
Okay.
Amazing movie. The 5 minutes of Seth Rogen and Ben Stiller itself is like the cornerstone of American cinema. But anyway, Rami Malek, is that his name?
Yeah.
Plays King Tutankhamun, King Tut, and somebody's like, "Oh, another white person playing a Middle Eastern character,"
Yeah.
and it's like he's from Egypt.
He's
like
actually Egyptian. Yeah.
I was like, get it together, people.
Yeah.
But people just want to be like right,
Yeah.
and just like are so quick to fire off something and be like, "Oh, gotcha."
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, everybody, calm down.
I have a feeling that even if in the actual movie, if Chris Pratt's Mario isn't the best, I think Jack Black as Bowser is going to make up for it.
As Browser.
Google. Why do you keep looking stuff up? I'm Browser.
Are you feeling lucky?
All right, a game, you said.
All right, so we're back to everyone's favorite game. Say it with me. Will it preach? All right, so I'm bringing up some aspects of video games in general, but some of them more specifically Mario, and I want you to tell me, will it preach, or maybe should it preach? How sacrilegious are some of these going
Just
to get?
because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right. So I'll bring up an idea or a title, and I want you to tell me, will it preach? How you would preach, or maybe even like in context of this would be a great pastor's pals, nugget for the kids. This would be a sermon series, things like that. All right. So first one, power-ups. The fruit of the Spirit give you power.
Okay. It would preach. I think it would preach. You're setting it up to be a sermon series. We're talking about the fruit of the Spirit. You could one and done that, but I think you should probably take time with each one. I'm going to say that it shouldn't preach, though, because the fruit of the Spirit is kind of the effect of the power up. It is not like the Spirit empowers us to love. Love is not the mushroom that we eat and then makes us more spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Putting the cart before the horse on that one.
That's good. Well, and a lot of the power-ups in video games, right, are destructive things. Correct?
Yeah.
Like you get a bigger gun, you shoot fireball,
Fireball. Not a sponsor.
I mean, some things. The New Heights podcast. But yeah, like, and I've been preaching through Exodus, and one of the things that when the plagues come up that is interesting / funny is that the magicians, the advisors of Pharaoh are like, "Oh, God made all these frogs. Oh, we can make frogs too." And it's like, wouldn't it be more helpful if you got rid of some of the frogs?
Yeah.
Like,
we don't need more frogs.
Like, he turn the Nile, in this miraculous thing, and all the waters turn to blood. So they take some fresh water, and they're like, "Oh, we can make it turn to blood too." And it's like, can't you like make some of the blood water back to regular water so we can have something to drink?
We actually don't need more blood, believe it or not.
And so this idea that the things of the enemy are oftentimes destructive, right? If we want to parse out what things are of God, are they being useful? Are they being urging us towards love, towards good deeds, towards the things of God? And so, good. Shouldn't preach. Wow, starting off strong.
Yeah, taking a stand over here.
You just didn't want to preach.
That's what it is.
On vacation. All right. One up or extra life, maybe.
Yeah. Yes.
Will it preach?
This will preach. And I think you can talk about, eternal life, right? So, I think the green mushroom, which gives you the added life, right? That's eternal life. But then there's the red mushrooms that, for a period of time, make you
Whoa.
bigger, and then eventually you come back down from that, um, which is weird, by the way. Like, let's just like they're eating these mushrooms, and all right. Anyway,
Psychedelic,
um,
Dave.
yes, but I think it. You talk about eternal life, the green mushroom, like that's what we're after, and uh, what does eternal life look like, and you can do all of that, but then you have to watch out for the things that promise eternal life and do
Mm.
supply some sort of spiritual or emotional high for a little bit, but end up leaving you back where you were or worse, and those are.
Isn't that thing like in Mario Kart where it looks like it's a box,
Yes, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
you go
yeah,
through it and it's like actually like boom.
yeah, yeah, yep.
Are you a once green mushroom, always green mushroom, Dave?
uh I I do, yes, I am. Once green mushroom, always green mushroom. But I think that only Jesus, well, only God, the Trinitarian God, knows when you've had the green mushroom and when you haven't.
And that you may die here on level 2-1, but you will live forever. Um, how about, so I don't know if I haven't bought a video game, like a physical video game, in a while. Do they still come with instruction books? I'm guessing not.
I'm guessing not anymore.
So how about, or did you, when you were playing, did you ever have a strategy guide?
Yeah, yeah.
So like, especially like some of the like
I mean, Zelda,
Zelda.
yeah, Ocarina of Time was the first game I ever had where like you needed a strategy guide or like
Mhm.
infinite amount of time. It's the bit from Toy Story 2 where Rex is playing the Star Wars or
Yes.
the game, and he's like, "You need to buy the book to beat the game. It's extortion."
All right. Will it preach the strategy guide?
Yes, this will preach. I bet this has preached before. Um, we as Christians love to like come up with like Bible basic instructions before leaving Earth, like that. Someone has done this sermon before. I think, and I could see this. This could fall on either side of cringe or cool, in in depending on how you do it. But yeah, I do think that the like the Bible is for us. It is a strategy guide. It's wisdom for us in how to live this life. I think there are differences in a strategy guide. A lot of times it's like step by step directions, like you have to do this. I think the Bible has some of those, but the Bible is more just sets you up to be able to do it yourself for yourself, and to apply that wisdom uh, to the life circumstances that you come into. But yeah, I think it will preach, can preach, and probably has been preached.
All right. Last one. Super Brothers.
Maybe if you're Mormon, and this could be like, aren't Jesus and Lucifer? Aren't they? Is that Mormons? Um,
I think so.
yeah. Um, it could be like a James and John series, the Sons of Zebedee, Sons of Thunder. Um, Yeah, I'm gonna say it won't. I think the game is for me to always say it will and come up with the illustration. But like Jesus doesn't have a brother. All right,
I didn't say Super Jesus Brother.
but that's who is this Hulk Hogan? I don't like.
All right. Well, just so you can use the same like font as
Here,
like Super
brother.
Mario
Yes,
Brothers, of like Super Brothers.
Super
Well,
Brothers.
what if you did a like men's group
Mm, mm.
series? I don't know if that's the only groups that you think should happen in church, Chief. But if we did a men's group on, iron sharpens iron, one man sharpens another, that you need your player two to go through with life, your player three, player four, that we need each other, that Mario has Luigi. Find your Luigi.
Mm-hmm.
Write it on this piece of paper, and then we will throw it in the fire at the end of the night.
No, that is good. I just think a lot about Jesus, so that's why my head wasn't in that space. But
That's all. It's just he's on my mind all the time. I just
yes.
think about Jesus. You got anything else, Dave?
I don't, other than go buy a Super Mario, and yeah,
A Super Mario.
a Super Mario. Oh, that
Favorite
just kidding. I do have something, and so hopefully you didn't say, "Oh, he's got nothing else," and you shut off the podcast. We're doing a giveaway with this episode.
Oh, nice.
We have. I should have brought them for a visual. I didn't, but we
So
have.
just go like this, and we'll put it in post.
Okay, yes, we have a Mario and a Luigi figurine, minifigs. They're actually not that miniature, but they're in carts, Mario Kart, Mario and Luigi, and one lucky winner will win both of them, Mario and Luigi. So there will be a post on our Instagram with instructions. Like it. Make sure you're following us. There will be bonus entries for those who send us a screenshot of their 5-star rating and review.
Favorite Mario song?
Favorite Mario song? There are multiple?
Yeah, there's bam 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 bam
Okay.
bam 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 bam.
Yes,
Then
I know
there's
this one.
bum 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 bum
Mm.
bum 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 bum.
Yeah.
And then there's a dun, 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 dun. That's like when you die.
Mm.
These are all from the original one, I'm sure.
So I mentioned how our girls are playing Mario Kart now, and they were actually playing without me the other day, and Lee and I were in the kitchen, and I just hear Logan. I overhear her say, "Riley, this is such beautiful music." I'm like, yeah, it is. So
Well, it was amazing when they had to do it on like the 8-bit. Like you had to like
Yeah.
create all these songs when you could only do little beeps and boops with the technology of the time.
Right.
Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, for watching us on YouTube, for listening to us on all platforms where you can get podcasts from. Thank you for sharing the gospel according to with your family, with your friends, with your enemies, the Bowsers in your life.
Bowsers.
Mario plays tennis with him, goes golfing with him. He keeps stealing the princess, but he keeps inviting him to go karting with him. I don't know if he just keeps making the same decisions again. So, invite your enemy to listen to it, and maybe they will have a change of heart. Thank you for following us on social media platforms that have ever existed. We got your Instagrams, we got your Facebooks, we got your TikToks, we got your Twitter Spaces, we got your
Flagpoles.
Flagpole.
Yeah, and the level with.
We got your Paper Marios. So follow us on those things. We have some giveaways that are coming up. We have some lawsuits that are coming up that we're going to need your character witnesses on. So make sure you're following on all those things.
Yes, things are getting litigious over here. You can send us a mailbag question on our socials or by emailing tgatpod@gmail.com. You can also reach out to our lawyers if you have any evidence you'd like submitted. We would be happy to answer any question that you have, so long as our lawyers let us, on social media or on a podcast episode here. Make sure you're doing your part in obeying the Great Commission by helping us spread the gospel according to. One great way to do that is leaving a 5-star rating and review. Many of you have done that. More of you need to do that. And when you do, screenshot it and send it to us, because, again, that gives you a bonus entry for our giveaways. So thank you for doing that. And make sure you're back next week for your favorite Hump Day podcast. This was the Gospel according to Super Mario Brothers.
It's a me, the Gospel according to